What's up, studs and studettes? Welcome to another Ask Mike Anything. These have been fun for us. We've continued to develop, relationships with our audience by answering questions that they are specifically asking us, kind of more relevant, more real time, and more what you're looking to hear. I've pretty much guessed at most content I've created over the years and what everybody cares to hear about. And you do your best to be right. You do your best to bring value, and the growth of the content and the growth of the audience has proven that we're doing something right. But this has been fun for me because it gives us a little bit more of a vulnerable, kind of open and real and raw, because I don't generally know the questions ahead of time. Sometimes I've seen the questions before because they get pulled from something else we've done, but I don't go in and study for the questions. So you get a real authentic and vulnerable answer. And it's fun to laugh like on these episodes. I think I take for granted how few people in my audience have actually heard me laugh. It's like one of those things where I'm typically like, yelling at somebody is what they know me for, because I get pretty heated from stage sometimes and I get pretty aggressive sometimes. But, most people have never heard me laugh, and I take that for granted sometimes. And, the dad jokes have obviously been great to help get a good chuckle out of me. And I'm pretty sure I'm like 3 for 39 at this point. So we're crushing that 5% success rate right now. But I also want to say thank you to Nate. Nate's been a trooper, a warrior here, keeping up with trying to get these episodes done. And so I hope you guys are continuing to enjoy it. If so, we want to hear from you. Shoot us a DM, shoot a message, shoot an email, in any way you want to connect with us so that we can get you a part of this mission. So Nate, how are you today?
Dude, I'm doing great. Excited to jump on this episode 36. So won't be much longer. We'll be at a year. Just
I
gonna
mean,
stay
just
on the
before you know
grind.
it, man, before you know it, it's nuts. What do you got
Just a
today?
dad joke of the day.
I want to
Yeah.
get one. I want to get one today. Okay.
So I picked this one. I think you could get this one, which always sets you up for failure.
Always sets me up for failure. Mia's going to laugh because Mia will know.
So, Mike, what did the ocean say to the beach?
Dude, that's not enough context. Okay. That is
Oh,
not
it is.
fair. What did the ocean say to the beach? What else in my head is a wave going, look out, here I come. Like the first thing my mind went to was a wave. Just like, I come in.
You basically got it. The answer is nothing. It just waved. But your version is better.
I just picture a wave. Just here I go. I'm such an idiot. Did you get that one?
I was too. That was so funny.
What?
You like kept saying away, away.
Oh yeah. All right.
First question, Liam Church. What are you grateful for today?
Today, so this morning, both MJ and Everett, while I was working out, I was doing my bike ride this morning in the gym. Both of them proactively came out to get help practicing for baseball. And watching them, I'm grateful that they're excited to do it, and excited to practice, and like they're actively getting better in the moment. MJ came out, did 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and then we did 100 catches. We're working on his hand-eye coordination. So we got these balls that are like, they're leather, but then they're soft, but they're the same weight as a baseball. So it's not like a tennis ball that feels different when it hits your hand, but it's softer. And we did 100 single hand catches this morning where I toss him a ball and he catches it, no glove, just single hand, to work on his hand-eye coordination. So we did 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, 100 squats, and 100 catches this morning. And then Everett probably took 40 or 50 swings off the tee. So I'm grateful that they're excited to practice and get better, because that's like, you can't teach that in adults. Like, you're either excited and want to practice and get better, or you don't. And so I want to continue to nurture and develop their interest in practice, because I've never been the best at anything. I've just normally been willing to outwork people. And I think if more people had that mindset, that I don't need to be smarter than you, I'll just outwork you, and that's enough, because that is enough. Like, by fact, that's enough. It very rarely is the best at anything the champion. It's the person who's willing to outwork everybody else typically wins. And obviously being skilled is part of that, but a lot of times skill set comes from the practice. I don't know. I'm grateful for that this morning. What are you grateful for
It's
today,
pretty
Nate?
good. I am grateful for the like 30 minutes to an hour I get just one-on-one with my little girl Harvey every morning. Like today, like it's cool getting back into playing guitar. You know, she just sits and watches me play guitar and do my little practice sessions. So, you know, that's been pretty special the last week.
No, definitely enjoy the fact that she just sits stills and watch. Because at some point
Correct.
you're gonna be like, bitch, just sit down. Like, what the hell? Like at some point.
That'll be here quick too.
Yeah. Mia, what are you grateful for today? Yeah, you're on the spot.
I'm grateful for work with mine. I also worked out with
Really?
yeah.
Oh, well, Mia's grateful for her workout this morning. That's awesome. Next
Oh
question.
yeah. Next question. Jeff Lively Jr. asked, what are some tips on managing cash flow?
Hire somebody who knows how to manage cash flow. I'm gonna give the one that just popped in my head that I think this happens a lot. I think this happens a lot. Is a lot of business owners struggle because they pay their AP gets paid before their AR comes in. Right. So they get an invoice from their supplier and they pay it before that customer pays for that project. And like sometimes you have to, or sometimes you need to negotiate different pay terms with your suppliers or vendors. But if you're consistently paying out money you haven't collected yet, you're always playing catch up. And like that's just not a fun way to manage your money. And so, like, if you're not getting paid quickly, fix your payment terms with your customers. If you're paying too fast to your vendors, change your pay terms with your vendors. Most people want to work with you on your cash flow. They want you to be a consistent customer for them. Like most vendors, suppliers, distributors, they want you to want to work with them. And but if you don't tell them like, hey, can I get 30 days on invoices instead of 5 or 7? Like I don't get paid that fast. It would really help me out if we can make this happen differently. Like a lot of times you just have to ask, can I get different pay terms? But I think, I mean, I don't know about you. I'm really interested to your perspective on this, but I think one of the biggest mistakes I see is you want to be a great business owner and you're just paying every invoice as it comes in, but not managing, have you actually received money for that project yet? That's the cash flow. Money has to flow in before it can flow out, or you're always going to be empty. And that's just like, I'll tell you, as I've hired a CFO over the last 6 or 8 months, and like we've gotten our cash reserves to that, like I think we talked about in a previous episode, you know, we got a couple $100,000 in cash reserves right now. And that's strictly because we got better at the cash flow. Right? Money in, money moving to the specific accounts, money out. So I think the second piece of advice was run your business on multiple accounts. Like not multiple banks, but multiple bank accounts. Like understanding like this is my tax account, this is my profit account, this is for payroll, this is for whatever. Like every business is going to be different on what you need, but you know, the profit first mentality, which is like can be implemented differently for different people, but distributing money to accounts first, then paying the other things. It's, you know, very similar to pay yourself first, as you know, like they talk about for in your personal finances, like, right, pay your savings account first. There's never gonna be anything left over to pay into it later. Pay that first, because we as humans are bad about just like spending what we got. Right? You know, this cash is burning a hole in my pocket. No, it shouldn't be. Like I don't. It's not on fire. What's the issue? Right? But like you want, if you got it, you feel more comfortable spending it. Like I have more cash than I've ever had before, but I'm less excited about spending money because my OpEx account, that primary account, is like probably as low as it's ever been. You know, that account hovers probably between 30 and 50 grand. And I don't want to spend out of that account because, like, you know, my payroll is 100 grand a month. Right. And if I'm not managing cash flow appropriately, like I'm not missing a fucking payroll. But because I move money out of that account, it changes my behavior about spending. So I'd say don't pay bills before the revenue for that bill comes in, and manage a multi-account approach so that you feel less comfortable spending money that really isn't there. Like my tax account, if it was in my OpEx account, it technically shouldn't be in the OpEx account. That's not money I can spend. It's money that's for taxes, right? And so you just get less comfortable spending money because it's not really, it shouldn't be in that one account. Those are two pieces. I don't know. What do you think, Nate?
Um, yeah, AP and AR management's key. So you are getting money in faster than you're paying it out. That doesn't work that well in my business. I just try to get enough deposit to be able to like make it make sense. So I manage my cash flow from the contract side, knowing I'm going to pay out my subcontractors quicker than I'm getting draws from the banks and things like that, since I'm in the new construction space, which is fine. I'm still managing that cash flow. But I think diving into that, the different buckets and understanding that, part of managing cash flow is assigning that cash like a job. And so by putting it in the profit account, you're saying this dollar's job is to be profit. This dollar's job is to be tax money, and
Yep.
so on, because it's too easy to lump it into one account and then be like, I got 300 grand. I spend 50 on that. No problem. But really, like, maybe that was your profit for the whole year, your tax money, and now you don't have your tax
Yeah.
money,
Yeah.
and he's going to get his. So
Yeah, he is.
being able to assign it and see that snapshot of what your cash's jobs are, how it's assigned and allocated, is key to managing cash flow. From my experience working with people, once you can implement that, you get a really better understanding of your cash, and you can start moving forward and make better decisions on cash instead of trying to dive deep into financial statements and that. I think it's the number one problem I see in business, and we got to learn to manage cash flow.
Good question, though. Good question. And
Good question.
I'll be honest, my financial intelligence has grown substantially in the last 2 or 3 years, by just asking more questions and bringing in experts and like not just letting them. I think a lot of people like hire their bookkeeper, their CFO, and they just like, do they do their job or not? Like, is the report done? Not why are certain things allocated certain ways? Why is this done this way? Why are we doing this? Like, I ask a lot of those questions, and my CFO has been great about, like explaining things in a way that helps me understand them in more layman's terms. But I think most people they're not afraid of money. They just don't understand it. Instead of gaining understanding, they just stay afraid of it, which is like
Correct.
really fucking frustrating.
No,
Next
for sure.
question.
Last question today. Fanny Swartz asked, do you or have you coached people in fitness?
No. I mean, I've talked about my journey. I've talked about what's worked for me, but I have never coached anybody specifically on their own fitness journey. I tend to connect people to experts that I trust.
Yep.
But like, I don't believe there's a lot of risk in health and fitness advice. The risk is most people won't follow what you tell them exactly the way you tell them. And so the risk is like telling somebody like, hey, do your macros like this, or hey, eat like this, or hey, work out like this. And they don't follow it the way you said it. So their results are different, or their body reacts differently, because everybody's body reacts differently to different things. Like some people are keto, some people are paleo, some people are carnivore, some people thrive on donuts after squat days, right? Like everybody's different, but it's all about, caloric and dieting and exercise is more about timing than anything else. Like, when do you eat what, right? If you're going to eat carbs, eat them around your workout, not right before bed, right? Like, but that works for me. Is that for everybody? I don't know. So I choose to stay away from stuff like that. So no, I have never coached anybody on health and wellness. I have shared my story, and I know that has helped some people. But even like right now, I'm going through this 10-week test to see, like, quote unquote, not dieting specifically, but just maintaining a specific caloric deficit to see if it helps me lose a certain amount of weight. And I've tracked every day. Like I'm a spreadsheet addict. Like I have a spreadsheet. Nate, have I showed you the spreadsheet, Nate?
You have not showed me the spreadsheet, but I'm
So
definitely
every
interested
day
because
I
I'm
have
a spreadsheet
tracked,
addict.
every day I have tracked how many minutes of exercise I've done, how many total calories I burned, how many active calories I burned, how many calories I took in, what was my deficit for that day, and what was my average calorie burn per minute of exercise, so I can make sure I'm being efficient with my exercise. And
It's a
I'm on
lot of
day
data
like,
points.
but it allows me to like, and so I'm not
Yep.
like, weight loss and weight gain is about is a caloric deficit or a caloric surplus. Like that's all it is. And so diets work because I don't want to eliminate things from my diet.
Yeah.
Quote unquote diet, food intake. So, but no, I've never coached anybody, and I don't have a plan to. That's all. You?
That's all. No,
Are you trying to get jacked this year?
no.
You want me to coach you, Nate? Nate
Yes,
wouldn't listen to me even
please.
if I wanted him to.
No, I've thought a lot about that. I kind of had that idea that I wanted to go to so I'm like 200 pounds. And I was like, maybe I do want to go to 225, 230 with the calories to get there.
Dude, he
The
would be
amount of food.
yoked at 230.
If I
I
was
mean,
230 and like 225, 230 and like lean, yeah.
dude, I can't even picture you 30 pounds heavier of muscle.
Well, I'm 30 pounds heavier today than when you met me.
Yeah. But 30 like more pounds of lean, like 230 is a different number than 200.
Correct.
Because especially your
Yeah, so I
height.
went 170 to 200 this say past year and a half or whatever. And so I might do the 225, 230 target sometime, but just to
You
do it.
watched me bulk last year. It was not comfortable.
I know, and see.
But I gained
I don't know.
50 pounds in 13 weeks. That was not your goal.
Now I'm trying to do 30 pounds over like 6 or 7 months for sure.
Right.
Maybe a whole year.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I wish
But
I wish I could just give you 30 pounds. Like, here, take these 30. It's a good blend of fat and muscle. I'll lose a little bit. You'll gain a little bit. It'll be perfect.
I'll meet in the middle at 230,
All
235.
right, guys. As always, you keep asking the questions and I'll keep answering them so that you can win fast and win often.